folks. Welcome back. Betting Public Sports Show. I'm your beloved host, Fane Rothstein, aka Michael Snackson, aka Bay O Wolf, aka Malcolm Excellence, aka Hacksaw Jim Thuggin. Today is Tuesday, what, July the 11th, 2023, about 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the beautiful Republic of Cincinnati, aka Queen City. And I don't have any action today. Okay, we're gonna go over some action. Well, we won't have any action tomorrow either. We'll have the baseball midseason kind of recap over what we chose in the preseason and what we, if we should change anything or not. One thing I don't think we will need to change is the Acuna for National League MVP choice. Keep that. We had him at plus 450. But I digress. We'll talk about that tomorrow. We're about to talk some shit. Some shit's got to get talked because if you know it's been percolating on social media from the hip hop, you know, we talk hip hop here, talk current events here, mainly talk sports betting. But every now and then we'll talk some shit about everything else. And who's the better MC? Biggie or Ice Cube? You know, as you know, it was Drink Champs interview with Tony Yayo of G Unit. You know, 50 Cent's little man from the group, right hand man, little man, whatever. Yeah, he was on the Drink Champs with Noriega and DJ EFN. And DJ EFN is a Cuban. I think he lived on the West Coast at one point, but it doesn't matter. I just know he's Cuban. And him and Tony Yayo got into a nice little clip floating online. Him and Tony Yayo, they're going at each other pretty good over who's better, Biggie or Ice Cube. EFN chose Ice Cube. What's his name? Tony Yayo chose Biggie. You know, obviously, you know Tony Yayo. He's from New York City. He's a New Yorker. He's gonna ride with his whole New York homie, Biggie. You know, most people outside of the East Coast, you know, they're not gonna ride with a New Yorker like that. And ESPN said Cube, and I'm gonna be honest with you. On the surface, just out of my, you know, around the top of the head, I'm gonna say Biggie. Biggie was a nicer rhymer. You know, I like the, you know, but I'm partial to the East Coast style of rapping. The way they rhyme, the way they put their words together, the way they put their, you know, shit together, their beats, everything, you know, because why? Because when I started listening to rap, 85, 86, it was all there. It was only people from the East Coast, you know, New York City to be more specific. You know, but as other regions started coming out, you start listening to them, the way they rap, the way they put their beats together. And, you know, you became interested in them as well. You know, and Ice Cube was one of those first people outside of New York, came through nationally rapping and kind of, you know, changed the game. You know, like late 80s, early 90s, you know, and really took the folk. He was one of those first people. And, you know, I mean, don't forget Ice T, King T, Too Short, you know, those guys in the mid 80s. They had a presence. They had a presence out, you know, national presence. Wasn't real big, you know. Ice Cube did Colors, whatnot, you know, but it wasn't a real strong presence. But they were there. You know, you'd see them on, you know, video shows and things like that. And here comes Ice Cube and what's his name? You know, the Ghetto Boys facing them, Scarface and Willie D. Bushwick, R.I.P. You know, then they started rapping. They had to be lyrical too. You know, even though Bushwick was getting his stuff written most of the time. You know, I've always said when the history of rap is written, Willie D won't get credit for his punchlines like he should. His punchlines were funny. They were They were emphatic to the, you know, impactful to the song, the verse and whatnot. They were always good. Scarface was just, he was a rapping motherfucker. He was a New Yorker. Let's be honest. If he was a New Yorker, he's getting, um, he's in that Jay and Big and Nas category. He even already is now. And if he was, he'd probably be, the best rapper ever. People be saying it more often. But yeah, Ice Cube and them came in, and Ren could rap too. DOC, he had bars too. And these guys came in, and then right after them is like Snoop, MC8, Spice One, some E40. These guys were bubbling. And, Snoop was another rapping motherfucker. But Cube, Cube and Ren and DOC for that matter. But Cube, he was like a different motherfucker because his storytelling was crazy. Once Upon a Time in the Projects, My Summer Vacation, Gangster's Fairy Tale. It wasn't a reality rap as they used to call it, but it was still, it was along that lines of Nightmares or Cinderella by Dana Dane, back in the mid '80s. Um, creative shit, on stuff that we already knew of, like kind of like Spice One, but the 187 pure, bitch, juice shot gin because the bitch was loose. You know what I'm saying? All them liquors, made them into peoples and whatnot, made it into a story. Scarface did it with Serial Killer, had all serials as shooters, you know. So um, yeah. So Cube comes through. Nobody's ever called Cube a weak lyricist. I've always said, Cube. Remember when the top 50 um, list came out by Billboard? A couple months ago, and Big Gip is on there, and I did a video about it. Says something about Big Gip. Big Gip sounds like a D writer and a hater, I believe it was. But I clearly said on that video that because Ice Cube was upset that he was 17th, and I said Ice Cube is on any reasonable list top 10, easily, easily top 10, possibly even top 5. You know what I'm saying? Depending on how far you go back with the hip hop shit. Cube was different. Like I said, his stories. He's got probably he definitely got a top 5 single ever. Definitely a top. He's probably got the top story in hip hop. It was a good day. You know what I'm saying? We always, the hip hop historians will tell you Slick Rick this, Slick Rick that was a great storyteller. No, Cube had incredible stories, but Biggie had good stories. The difference with Biggie and Cube, Biggie's stories weren't hits; they were never singles. Biggie's story, Somebody Gotta Die. Go listen to that. That's a very underrated story. Uh, Somebody Gotta Die. Warning is a little bit of a story. Everyday Struggle. You know what I'm saying? Suicidal Thoughts. Yeah, Biggie's stories, they weren't singles. Weren't meant to be singles. And they were B-side, bangers. With dude just spitting, you know what I'm saying? I swear to God, I'm slip my wrists in this bullshit. Throw a magnum to the head, threaten to pull shit, then squeeze until the bed's completely red. I'm glad I'm dead. Fucking worthless Buddha head. You know what I'm saying? Biggie stories are crazy. You know what I'm saying? Um, so and if you want to go real hit for hit, like don't even Big had to puff with him. I mean, it was different. Juicy, like it's 2023. Juicy will still fill a dance floor. Can't say that about Bop Gun. Some of Cube's song like, nah, you know what I'm saying? But Cube wasn't trying to go to the pop chart like that. Like it wasn't that Big and Puffy were trying to go to the pop chart. It's just you know, Biggie was just a out the moon, popular with it. You know what I'm saying? Arrogant, fat, black, ugly motherfucker. And that's why I gravitated. That's why I gravitated to the nigga. I can relate to a ugly, fat, black motherfucker, arrogant motherfucker. You understand? You doing that type of shit, you right up my alley, B. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, what else was there? I mean, but if I'm being honest, like I said, off the surface, I'm gonna say Biggie, just because when he came through right after Snoop and them, Biggie brought the pendulum back to the West Coast or the East Coast. It was only East and West at the time. Down South wasn't doing shit. That's why I don't want to say that disrespectfully. They just wasn't bubbling like that at the time. Um, that's why Andre 3000, at the Source Awards said that the South got something to say because they was all about East and West there at that Source Awards. The all up in the videos awards. Y'all don't love Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre awards. You know what I'm saying? That day. But yeah, Biggie brought it back, man. Like made the East popular again, and made it. I mean, Wu Tang kind of was. Don't get it twisted. Wu Tang kind of had it simmering, because like Nas was just too much New York. It was just we can tell you can rap, but that's just too New York, and that was his thing though. He wasn't trying to do anything but New York rapping. And then the Wu Tang came, and it was just so dope, so different. 9 motherfuckers out there, all different styles. You know what I'm saying? Meth was the breakout early, but Raekwon and Ghost, a couple others, Old Dirty, a couple others broke out as well. You know, and like I said, it was just 9 dudes, all 9 different, different styles, different looks, and they just rapping. So they kind of broke the mold a little bit to come back east, and then Biggie just pushed it all the way east because all of a sudden Snoop couldn't rap no more. Snoop got whack. Cube got whack. A lot of West Coast rappers got whack, and then like I said, Biggie did that, opened the door. Mobb Deep came in a little bit before that too, right before. I mean, Big has some features here and there, like on Mary J. Blige and Nana Cherry and shit, but wasn't. No, he didn't have no feature album yet, and then that came out. Like I said, Mobb Deep came out a little bit before. So the lyricism's coming back, and then Biggie came in, bust the door, and brought everybody with him. Jay Z, the Locks, Cameron, Fabulous, it's all type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Big L, Mace, just everybody. Mace before Cam, I apologize. Mace before all of them, the Locks too. But yeah, and then just Fabulous too. I'm sorry, Mace, my bad, man. Yeah, I know Mace came in, did songs with Big. Um, but yeah, um, so both of them were very impactful. I think Biggie's was slightly more impactful because he brought it back to the East. Cube had to fight through to get the East respect. That wasn't easy to do, but it's not as impactful as once you take the pendulum from him, he brings it back, in my opinion. But let me know what y'all think. Who do you think's the better MC? No insulting each other and whatnot. Just state your piece and go. Be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm fascinated by that. Like I said, because it's if you're from New York, or if you're from a certain age, you heard like me, you heard New York rappers first, so you kind of gravitate to them. You're gonna take Biggie, and there's really not a wrong answer. But the minute you say, and it ain't even close, that's where you're wrong, because to me, it's a dead heat. Same thing with Q. If you like shit outside of New York, you like the West Coast shit, you like the way they gave it up, you're gonna say Q. But the minute you say, and it ain't even close, or by a landslide or some shit like that, that's where you're wrong. I'm telling you, it is a dead heat. You know, we didn't get a chance to see Biggie get whacked. Because he got killed. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to see him get whacked. Everything he did was fire up until then. Even the R. Kelly, not the song that is on Biggie's album, "You Must Be," not that one. It's on an R. Kelly song. He did a little 16, sitting, reminiscing on when you started this. Everything he did was fire. Didn't get a chance to see him go whack like we saw Cube. That West Side Connect, that just he wasn't rapping like he used to. But I guess he was, trying to, rap more for the LA, audience and listeners, and that's cool, but like, no, bruh, that just wasn't a good move. And granted, they both took some pretty lethal disses. You know, Biggie hit him up. He didn't respond because he wasn't really trying to have beef with dude like that. He was like, nah, man, it ain't worth all that. He saw what was gonna happen, and it happened. And he gave Newt no Vaseline. Don't get it twisted. That's probably that's definitely a top three diss. General consistency, top three disses, top five are hit 'em up, no specific order. Hit 'em up, no Vaseline, uh, bridge is over, ether, and um, I'm gonna say the bitch in you. Common sense going at Q. Common lit him up real good. Q, so he gave one and took one. He's 1-1 in battles. You know, um, Biggie never really, he just really wasn't know that because he throw little subs here and there. Everybody throws subs. You know, um, even Snoop threw a few little shots at Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? But like at the end of the day, there's still question over who's the king of LA, who's the king of the West Coast. Is it Cube or Snoop? There's no question about Biggie. He's still the king of New York, even though it's just basically Jay or whoever is just kind of sitting on it. But it's really Biggie, right? But yeah, so don't you leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. All right, and like I said, we got the football preview coming up in mid-August. I already gave you some action. Remember, the Giant or the Lions are going to make the playoffs or score. They're going to get 11 wins, and Cleveland will make the playoffs. But those are two that we already gave you. We'll talk more in August. But I'm gonna hop off of here. It's always a pleasure hollering at y'all. And don't forget tomorrow the baseball first half recap. All right, and yeah, and then in a month we'll have the football previews, and usually right around there we go start going regular with video. All right, but yeah, there's no action today. I'm not doing any tennis, and then baseball. They're on, it's the All-Star game. We don't do exhibition sports here, and there's no action tomorrow either. So, or Thursday. So we probably won't be back until Friday, but we'll definitely have that mid-season report. All right. Um, but until then, everybody be well. Stay safe. Peace.